Hey, man. Don't mean to interrupt. You have a couple minutes? Sure. I have a question here. It has to do with the physics of water, right? Water. So if I were to ask you to describe the surface of the water, how would you describe it? So water, right? When it's contained, it takes the shape of the container, right? And the surface, how would you describe the surface of the water when it's contained and settled? Would we say it's level, right? That's what water level means, right? Could we say that it's horizontal? Well, I mean, it doesn't depend how we hold it. Water will always find its level, right? Yeah, that's by that tool. Yeah, exactly, the leveling tool, exactly. So basically what my point is then, since we understand what level means, basically the physics of water, what it does, which one of these two is correct, A or B? A, right? That's the obvious answer, right? So the reason I'm out here asking people this, because you think it's possible for me to trick you and basically warp your common sense to make you believe the answer is B? You think that's possible, or do you think you're pretty confident in your...
It's possible.
Right? What if I were to tell you that you already been tricked to believe it's B? You want to know why? Do you believe Earth is a ball?
Yes.
So in order for Earth to be a ball, they tell us that it's 24,901 miles in circumference.
Yes.
You want to take a quick look at this? It's a formula for the Earth's curvature. It's the radius. The radius is 3959. So it has... If it's a sphere, the size they tell us, because NASA supposedly goes to space, right? So if they're orbiting the Earth, they have to know the radius of orbit. So they have to know the size of the Earth. So these are the numbers they tell us. So basically at 3 miles, they should be a 6-foot drop. So in other words, graph B shows that at 3 miles, each dot represents half a mile. So by the 3rd mile, there should be a 6-foot drop. So if we start at 5 feet, by 3 miles, it should be 11 feet, the water dropping. So every lake basically on Earth and the oceans should be curving at that rate, they tell us. But we know the physics of water doesn't do that. Physics of water doesn't matter the size, the lake, the ocean. Have you heard of the term sea level?
Yeah.
That's how we measure height and depth, right? If we try to measure depth and height, they wouldn't be level to each other if it was on a sphere. You get what I'm saying? If it was on a sphere measuring depth, those depths wouldn't be on the same level with each other, or the heights wouldn't be on the same level. Because airplanes fly level, meaning they fly straight. Have you heard of this topic before? Of people that don't believe in the shape of the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? How long ago did you hear about it?
Years ago.
Years ago, right? Have you ever thought about it since you heard about it, or yeah? Right? So
I haven't seen it myself,
so this will be the number.
the circle.
Yeah. So we don't know the dimensions of the Earth. We don't know how big it is. We don't even know what Earth is, to be honest. All we know is that the surface is level, and we don't know how it. Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm recording this, just for, I actually have a channel. I speak to people about this. Oh, I can blur you out, if you don't, but...
I don't mind talking with you.
Sure, I can blur your face, But, yeah, like I said, I have some information if you want to, when you go home,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't worry about it, man. You won't even have to worry. But the links on here, it's information that I found.
You don't be being nice to me.
Oh, I'm not, this isn't...
recording you and don't even be like, hey, I'm recording, by the way, from my channel.
I thought it, my bad.
I say none of that.
My bad.
I just killed the whole conversation, and I was into the conversation.
No. A lot of people talk to me, and they automatically see it. They either ask or they'll assume I am right away. So that's why I thought, that you already assumed you did. I should have asked. But like I said, if you want to take some information home, it's up to you.
If you got me interested in the topic, man, if we could turn off cameras and stuff, maybe we could talk.
Oh, I could turn it off. I mean, sure. I mean.
You got me. You feel me?
Yeah, sure. I could turn this off.
My eye open now on this thing. Yeah.
I mean, trust me, believe it or not, I'll turn this off. Sorry to interrupt. Would you like to answer a really easy question real quick, multiple choice? Sure. Okay. So the question is about the physics of water, right? We all understand water, right?
Yep.
It takes the shape of the container.
Yep.
How would you describe the surface of the water?
Flat.
Flat, right? Horizontal will be a proper term, right? So based on that, since we understand the physics of water, right, and what level means, which one of these two is correct? It's not a trick question. It's very easy. Oh, there you go.
I see it, bro.
Let me get a little closer. A or B?
I can't even see what the difference is.
Okay, look at the water level. Which one represents water level. The bottom portion, the water part, the blue part.
Oh,
You see that? Yeah, okay. A, right? That's the obvious answer, right?
Yes, I didn't
so,
see that.
So, my further, is it possible for me to basically warp your common sense to make you believe the answer is B, even though we know it's A? Do you think that's possible to do that?
I don't know.
What if I were to tell you that you've already been tricked basically to believe that it's B? You want to know why?
What?
Do you believe Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
So in order for Earth to be a ball, they tell us that it's a certain dimension, right? They tell us it has a radius of 3959, which
Yeah.
gives us a circumference of 24,901 miles.
Yeah.
So we have an exact curvature rate for that. You want to take a quick look at that? At 3 miles, there should be a 6-foot drop, and that drop just keeps increasing every mile. So by 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature. So the graph on B represents a 3 mile. So every dot represents half a mile. So by the 3rd mile, there should be a 6-foot drop. But we understand water level doesn't mean curve, right? So sea level actually means level, like flat. So the oceans are not curving. So the Earth is not a ball, based on our understanding of the physics of water. So have you ever heard of people that don't believe in the globe, or that question the globe?
No.
You've never heard of this topic before?
Yes, but I don't listen to it.
Oh, I see. So basically this information, the reason why it's not everybody's talking about it is because it's being censored. I don't know if you knew, and the news, basically nobody's gonna talk about this because they're basically keeping the simplicity of understanding this from people. Basically, they wanna keep us confused, basically, is the point. You know, so I don't know if you wanna take some information home to maybe look into it later, because it is being censored, so if you look it up, you're not gonna be able to find these links. But, since I'm giving you direct links, you can look it up in your free time. There's some websites on there, the information's inside. You know? All right, man, have a good one. Thanks for talking to me. Hey, man, you got a couple minutes? Or it's just a quick question, a multiple choice? Just a quick question? Is that yes or no? Yeah? Can I get a little closer so I can hear? Oh, it doesn't work. All right. All right, so very easy. We understand the physics of water, right? Water always takes the shape of the container. How would you describe the surface of the water once it settles and is contained? The surface of it. What was that?
It's got a curve to it, right?
Well, like for example, in this bottle or a pool. Let's say we filled the pool. How would you describe the surface of the pool once it's filled up with water? Could we say it's level? Level, right? Have you ever seen a spirit level, right? The one they use in construction?
Oh, yeah.
The leveling tool, right? So it has water in it because water always equalizes from the surface, right? That's our understanding of the physics of water, right? That's what always happens. So since we understand the physics of water, it's gonna be a very easy question, It's not a trick question. Which one of these two is correct? Since we understand the physics of water. There we go. There we go.
Probably
A, right? That's the obvious answer, right? So the reason why I do this is because, is it possible for me to trick you and basically warp your common sense to make you believe the answer is actually B and throw away basically A? Do you think that's possible or not? You think it's possible? What if I was to tell you that you've already been tricked to believing it's B? You just haven't realized it. You want to know why? Do you believe Earth is a ball? A ball, Earth, a globe.
I think it's like a round when you look at it, right?
Yeah, so that's what NASA shows us, right? So in order for Earth to be a globe, like NASA tells us, because NASA supposedly orbits the Earth, right? So they have to know the radius of orbit. So they have to know the size of the Earth. So this is the exact curvature rate. The radius is 3959, which gives us a circumference of 24,901 miles, which means by the 3rd mile, there should be a 6-foot drop. In other words, graph B will represent that. So in other words, if we start at 5 feet, by the 3rd mile, the water should be deviating from a level structure by 6 feet. So it should be 11 feet. And by the 10th mile, because that curve gets more exponential because it's not a slope, it's a curve. So by the 10th mile, there should be 66 feet. That's a 6-story building of curvature. But we know that it's not gonna be there. We understand water. We could build a pool 100 miles, 1,000 miles, fill it up with water, that water is always gonna be level. So that'll be the #1 proof to debunk the globe. So we basically don't live on a globe. We live on a level plane.
So where's gravity coming from?
So gravity, I'm glad you brought it up. Gravity is just a theory. I don't know if you knew that. It's just a theory. And the reason why is a theory because they didn't measure a force pulling stuff down. What they measured was the rate.
It's 8 pounds per square inch. Is that not?
No, that's you're thinking about pressure on Earth. It's 14.7. We have pressure.
Semantics. Is that
Yeah, 14.7. That's the pressure we have because of the air. So gravity claims to pull objects down, but what they measured was the speed of which objects fall, which is 9.8 meters per second. So they measure, that's a measurement of speed, which is the effect of a force.
Wouldn't that be semantics? Because I mean, you do ones with speed and ones with. That's like saying that that like 1 gallon of milk weighs however many pounds. It's still that many pounds of milk is going to equal 1 gallon. Is it not equal both ways? I mean, does the equation not work if you're just
No. One we're measuring air pressure, which is gas.
But that's so okay. So air pressure is what? Gravity?
Air pressure is basically, they try to tell, so by air pressure, you know when you have a cylinder and you want to create a higher pressure, like in your tire you requires 50 psi, right? Out here is 14.7 psi. So how do we create a bigger pressure system? We have to have an enclosement. So we need to have a container basically. So once we create a container, then we can increase the pressure, right? So and even to create a vacuum, to create a negative pressure under 14.7, we also need a container to suck the air out of it so that the air outside doesn't rush in to equalize.
So what would that be, like our atmosphere?
So my point is, yeah, they tell us atmosphere is pressure, which means it's pressing against some kind of wall. So the Earth is contained. In other words, outer space doesn't exist because they tell us gravity is a negative pressure system, a vacuum, next to Earth's pressure system without a container. And we understand physics, in order to have pressure, you need a container. So I don't know if you heard of this, I don't go with it, but the dome theory, people go with the dome theory because, again, air has to be contained. I don't make any claims because I don't know what Earth actually is. All I know is that the surface is level. We don't know how it terminates. We don't know how the Earth ends. That's a mystery. So that's why they kind of keep us lied, so we don't find out what Earth actually is. And they also keep this from us because it's literally this simple to understand. The physics of water, it's very simple to understand. A 5-year-old can understand it. And that's why this is the #1 ridiculed topic right now on the internet, because of that reason. It's very simple to understand. This topic would literally destroy the system as is, like government, schools, astronomy, you name it. Anything that has to do with credibility about outer space will go out the window.
Rewrite the books.
What was that?
Rewrite the books.
Exactly. So another thing about history, I don't know, winners write the history books. I don't know if you ever heard that quote. So history is just all a lie. Columbus, all of that are just stories, like a religion. A religion needs a story if you're gonna buy into it. So government offers us that story, basically. They offer us a creation story with the globe.
What do you think about fossils?
Fossils, it depends. So there used to be giants. They found human 15-foot giants. They don't talk about those in the mainstream media. So what they talk in the mainstream media about dinosaurs and all that, fossils, they've been tested and they've been found to be like chicken bones all mashed together to make basically bigger sculptures of dinosaurs. So dinosaurs were a myth, basically. It's just a tax scam, basically, dinosaurs. And again, it's to feed the millions of years of evolution nonsense. Again, there's a bunch of theories holding up each other. The theory of gravity, the theory of evolution, the theory of the Big Bang.
Where do you stand on carbon dating?
Carbon dating, to be honest, I don't think we could date anything more than maybe 1,000 years, I think. Because nobody's ever lived longer than that. Yeah, you have to live 1,000,000 years to be able to date something 1,000,000 years. Yeah, so they kind of trick people in that field as well to make them believe that we're actually capable of dating things millions of years, but in reality they don't. You know the method they do to carbon dating? The way they do carbon dating, like the way they basically date a fossil is by the surrounding area. So based on the surrounding area, how that looks, how it aged, then they go based on that, how old that thing is.
Well, they test like
that's what they
atom.
yeah they test the surrounding rocks too, though. That's how they determine what that age of that one is. But the funny thing is that they do that vice versa too, to do the other way around. So it's kind of circular reasoning in a way. It's kind of to confuse people, just to give people an explanation.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
So
this is what I do because this topic is being censored. So I go out, to the public and speak to people. Actually, here, let me give you a flyer. These are the main topics. Water being #1. The horizons, basically another proof. Euclidean geometry, which is used in everyday construction. It's plane geometry. It can work from a curve. So building bridges. In China, there's a 100-mile long bridge that would have over 1,000, I don't know how much, over a mile of curvature that's not there, But yeah, man, I'm glad, you talked to me, man.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.